Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now.
UFC Vegas 100 this weekend. This is probably the most interesting fight, women's fight on the card. Luana Pinheiro versus Jillian Robertson. Brazil versus Canada. So when you look at the tail of the tape, you know, you got Pinheiro at 11-3 and Robertson at 14-8. Robertson in the recent years has done a little bit better in the division, because Robertson, remember, she was fighting at flyweight, and then she dropped down to strawweight. I believe that fight. When did she drop down to strawweight? Was it Polyana Vienna or was it Tabitha Ritchie? No, Tabitha Ritchie. No, she's been fighting at strawweight for a bit. Or did she go to bantam? No, did she go to like?
No, I don't think she's ever been at bantamweight.
All right, so her last fight at flyweight was Maria Agapova, where she choked her out. Then she beat Rose Namajunas in a grappling match, submitting her in the first round, which is badass.
Yeah, that's
And
crazy.
then she dropped down to strawweight. Got a performance bonus. Second round armbar against Pierre Rodriguez. Then lost to Tabitha Ritchie. You know, Tabitha Ritchie's doing really well. She's like top 10, I think.
Yep.
In the division. Lost to her by decision. Came back and beat Polyana Vienna by ground and pound, second round.
Nice.
Went on to beat Montana De La Rosa in a grappling match, and then recently dominated Michelle Watterson in a pretty damn good fight for Jillian Robertson. So she's got a lot of momentum going into this fight. What is she? She's on two straight wins, but she's also won a grappling match. But if you look at what she's done in the last couple of years in the strawweight division, she's probably one of the most promising fighters.
Yeah, I agree.
She's not really even a prospect because
she's been around for a while.
She's been around, but she's still super young. Like she's only 29, but it seems like she's been around for 10 years.
Yeah.
When did she debut? Let me see.
Let's see.
She debuted. Man, you gotta go. Okay, so she was on the Ultimate Fighter. She actually got onto the Ultimate Fighter with a 3-2 record. And that was in 2017, and she's been with the UFC ever since. So 2017 to now, she's fought the best of the best. You know, she's fought a lot of good talent.
Yeah, she really has.
But I feel like she's better. She's gotten better every year, and now she's kind of like hit her stride, entering her prime.
I agree.
What do you think of Jillian Robertson?
I think she's great. I think she's one of my favorite girl fighters in the UFC, 100%. And it's just like you said, like I've seen her progression. She's obviously incredibly talented in grappling, but you've seen her, like, with every fight, I feel like I've seen her get better and better and better, and that's why I really, really like her. Like, it's clear to me that she's, like, taking her previous fights and learning from them and, like, constantly improving, you know, even after all this time, like, she's just continuously getting better. And I love grappling myself, so I have a soft spot for girls who are like dominant in grappling, you know. So and she's a savage, you know. She really is. She really fits her fight name. I think she's a dope fighter to watch, and I love watching all of her grappling exchanges. Yeah, I think she's great.
Yeah, really. She's probably one of the better submission grapplers.
Yeah.
In the UFC, just overall in the UFC, like she has a unique
women
style.
Or not, she's just pretty dominant.
Definitely pretty dominant. So you got Gillian sitting at number 14 in the rankings, and then you got Luana at number 13. So they're very close, right? And then when you go look back at Luana's record, she's 3-2 in the UFC, 1-0 in a Contender Series. She has wins over Michelle Watterson, a split decision, who Gillian finished, or actually won by decision, dominant decision. She has a win over Sam Hughes, and then she has a win over Randa Marcos. Randa Marcos, who's actually retired now. I don't think she fights anymore.
Is she Canadian as
Yeah,
well?
she was like,
Yeah.
she's from somewhere else, but she grew up in Canada.
Yeah.
Yes, with the
Yeah,
red
yeah,
hair,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But since the Michelle Watterson win, she's lost against Amanda Ribas and Angela Hill, who are very high level
Great
fighters.
fighters,
Yes. Very high level fighters. So she's gotten a taste of the top 15.
Yeah.
Well, she's ranked, and she hasn't done really well. She's been finished in her last 2 fights, 2 straight losses, 2 finishes, and Angela Hill never finishes anybody.
Yeah.
And she finished Luana. So it shows you that she's very deficient. And I don't know what is wrong. Is there a skill gap? You know what I mean? Because Amanda Ribas and Angela Hill are totally different fighters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're totally different fighters. So
I think from what I saw in her last fight is that I didn't see like the best grappling for one, and I also saw striking where it was a lot of like she was just hoping to like land one like heavy power shot. Like it was a lot of single shots. It wasn't like combinations or like it just seemed like she was hunting for a knockout, and that can cause issues, right? I mean, I've done that shit in a fight, where you're always looking for that one shot. For one, you end up tiring yourself, and 2, I mean, if that stuff doesn't land, especially like I could see something like that happening where if she's gonna start throwing those heavy punches, right? Jillian's gonna read that, and she can immediately like go for a takedown off of something like that, right? Whereas if Luana, is that her name?
yeah.
If Luana, plays it smart and actually starts throwing combinations and like putting those heavy shots in the combinations, then we might be able to see some success. But kind of what I've seen from her last fight, I feel like that might happen again. Hopefully she's learned from her mistakes, but I guess we'll find out.
Well, Luana, she's a judoka, right?
Is she really?
Yeah, her background is judo, which is weird because when you watch her fight, you
Yeah.
can't tell
No.
at all.
No.
Because you think that she's a striker.
I'm amazed.
Yeah, you're like...
Let's see that.
Yeah, let's see that. But the thing is, like, is this the time to pull it out against Jillian Robertson? That's the question.
I mean, throwing single heavy power shots is not the right idea. So maybe judo is the way to go.
But it's like, okay, so with judo, you could toss her.
Yeah.
But then you put
then
her
what?
in the position where she
Right,
wants to be,
right.
because Jillian's really good off her back as well. It's not like
Yeah.
she's deficient in her guard game or
No,
her top
she's-
game. She's good at both. So
Yeah.
she can submit you from both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Angles or whatever you want, positions. Luana, if you look at her, she does have 5 submission wins though. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
not like she can't submit people, but in the UFC, she doesn't have any finishes.
In the UFC, her only wins are decision.
Decision, and then she won the Marcos fight because of an illegal up kick. So that wasn't really.
Oh,
You know.
it doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't really count,
Yeah.
right? She got nailed with the up kick, and then she got the win, right?
Right.
So it counts as a win, but it doesn't really count, right? But before that, she's had submission wins, right? Guillotines, and they've been all first round submissions as well,
Right.
which is wild. Like, if she thinks like, okay, I'm gonna go. I don't know. I don't think she comes out and does any kind of judo.
No.
I think she has the game plan of she's just gonna fight like she normally did.
Yeah.
And stay away from the clinch and try to like not get taken down, basically. Right? And also the new rules.
Right.
Like that
Yeah.
could be an advantage for Jillian, right?
Definitely.
I think the new rules kind of like is more an advantage for like grapplers, it seems. Right? Don't you think so?
Definitely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And last week was the first week where they had the new rules, and then somebody was in mount and they were throwing the 12 to 6 elbows right down the middle
Nice.
and cut his opponent
Yeah.
on top. So
Yeah.
it can work.
Definitely it can. Yeah, with judo, I feel like those people are good at like top control, right? Because that's where you get your submissions. There's no judo where you're like you throw the person and then you armbar them, right? Yeah. Whereas Jillian's just good, just as you said, in every position. So yeah, I unfortunately can kind of already see this fight playing out, right? If Luana fights the same way she fought her last fight, I can see her. She was really heavy on that right overhand. So if she just continues that, Gillian will be able to read that so easily,
and
right?
dip under
And capitalize on that. Yeah.
Jillian's like her takedowns have gotten much better over the years because
Yeah.
before she used to just pull guard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now seems like she could get into the clinch. She understands how to get into clinch situations and then take someone down from there, dip under,
Yeah, exactly.
single legs, double legs. And I think like that's what's going to happen in this fight. I think Luana is going to keep her distance and try to like play it safe and win a decision.
Oh,
I think that's what
really?
Luana's going to try to do.
Oh,
No,
try
that's
to do.
try to do. I
Try
think
to
that
do.
because she's on back-to-back losses as well. I
Right.
know the women don't get cut as often as the men, but I think like even on back-to-back losses, especially if like let's say this is your last fight on your contract, you don't want to lose, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you don't have no negotiating power.
Yeah.
So like a win is the most important thing. I think Luana goes out there and tries to win, and it might
Plays
turn
it
boring.
safe. Yeah.
And then you might see Robertson like chasing after her.
Yeah.
And that might be the situation, and her running back and trying to counter and use the jab.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
that will be the situation, or maybe it's not, and Luana's just like, hey, I don't give a shit. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out there and fight the way I want to fight, and I'm gonna go take her head off.
Yeah.
And that plays into the advantage of Robertson.
Right.
Her dips
Exactly.
under.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anybody could get clipped, but I don't think like Luana has the power to like rock Robertson to the
No.
point where Robertson is like she's nearly knocked out.
Yeah.
Because even if
I
she
don't
does
see that
rock
happening
her,
either.
she has the grappling to kind of
Yeah,
play it safe.
She'll just fake it and just like
Yeah,
grab
exactly.
onto her, right? Yeah.
Even if she like drops to her back, Luana's gonna run in, and next thing
Yeah.
you know, you got
She's getting arm
yeah,
barred.
you got double underhooks, and
Yeah.
she's throwing up the arm bar. So
Yeah.
I think Robertson has the most advantages, the most ways to win.
Yeah.
And, of course, she's the favorite. She's a moderate favorite at minus 165.
Okay.
She's on the win streak. She seems like she's turning into the best version of herself. And I think she goes in there and wins this fight by submission. I think it's going to be like the first or second round.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going Gillian by first round submission. I can see it like I can see Luana even just throwing one overhand and Gillian capitalizing immediately on it,
True.
I could see like a really quick finish.
Or even throwing a kick
Yeah.
and grabbing the
Yeah.
leg and then just going to the ground like
Yeah.
that. Jillian is, I feel like mentally, she's so confident on the ground that once it gets there,
She's like
yeah,
she
she's
can
just-
relax.
Yeah, she could.
you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. She could
Yeah.
relax and let Luana make the mistakes.
Yeah.
And then she capitalize. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's probably gonna happen, but who knows, man? Watch her go out there and like first punch knock her out.
Yeah, you never know, right?
Yeah.
That's the excitement of the sport.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm heavy on that. I'm betting on Gillian beating Luana pretty quickly.